before starting on the sound design of The Matrix, I was given the homework of a big stack of Hong Kong martial arts movies to watch and try to understand what worked about the sound and what didn't work in a sort of modern sensibility. So I pitched the concept of exaggerating how the turbulence through the atmosphere would be heard, would be perceived orally. And the directors liked that idea once I started to play it for them. So everything that moves whooshes. And it gets to a point where it becomes a stylization, but you start to really believe that just pushing through the air is part of the effort involved in moving, especially having a fight. So it became about giving weight and shape to every kind of movement, leading up to so the actual fighting scenes have a very kind of an airy quality that all these whooshes, and most of the whooshes are made from frayed ropes and materials that I recorded thousands of, spinning things around my head on a Foley stage, and then sort of exaggerated the ends of all of those whooshes. But it was a gas, and Julia Evershade cut all of these whooshes as well as hits. So you have this. You have this high energy of the movements that make them violent. They give them more danger, more peril, certainly, for the characters. And it pays off once you get into the final part of this fight. And another challenge was the arc of the fighting sound. So the first scene in the dojo had to kind of establish the way it sounded to beat each other up. But it evolved to get more and more powerful until the final scene, essentially here between Smith and Neo in the subway station. So the sound of the fighting has to include sounds for the volume of air being pushed around, mostly by their bodies, but also the more whistly, high kinds of sounds that are more penetrating and more specific to the body parts. So when everything is combined, we're getting a lot of different perturbations in the atmosphere, in the air molecules, or whatever is being simulated in the code of the Matrix. The goal being to always be lethal sounding, violent, brutal. But at the same time, real within the rules that we've established. And the final fighting scene in the subway is like the payoff of the arc that we developed through the whole movie, starting with the dojo fight scene, and evolving more and more brutally, more violently until this final scene, climaxing that scene with the two of them, Agent Smith and Neo, kind of flying away from each other. And that's what it sounds like to beat each other up in the Matrix.